Here with you for another Idle Heroes video. How are you? I hope you're well. This is the second time I've recorded this video. So I apologize if my little voice starts to fade. The other thing, well, the thing you would have noted very immediately about this video is the fact that my audio is super off key and it sounds a bit dull. The reason is because I am in another city or state for work, and I'll be in this particular state for about 3 weeks. And obviously, I'm not going to lug around my $100 microphone just so I can record YouTube videos. As much as I would love to give you guys super clear, crisp audio on my YouTube videos. So unfortunately, for the next 3 weeks, you're just going to have to put up with a dull thud of my voice. I do apologize. But this week, we're here to talk about the event, which, look, let's be honest, this week is all about the resonance suits, right? Everything else just pales in comparison. But you guys are here for the whole shebang. So let's just talk about just the normal stuff. Then we'll get to the exciting stuff, the resonance suits, which you obviously have to craft here with in the Grave Dwarf's Blessing Armory area. So this week is the Prophet Orb event. Nothing special about these packs. It's not tied to any particular event. So these packs are all shit. I don't know anyone who would buy these packs. But then if you go to the Prophet Summons event, again, this is all largely terrible. Simply because the hero that you can get at 80 points is kind of like, well, it's Rogan. If you don't already have a Rogan, then okay, this is a good way to get copies of Rogan without using artifact selection chests and or feathers. In fact, if I'm talking about feathers, if you're using feathers to buy copies, irrespective of if you're early game or late game, just don't fucking do that. It's just such a terrible idea. Feathers should only be now going forward used for artifacts. That's it. Do not use it for heroes, right? So if you're new to my channel, you hear all the other YouTube people say, artifacts last forever, so you should focus on artifacts. I was the first one to say that, right? So the phrase that you continuously hear from me if you watch all my past video is that artifacts are enduring, meaning they last, all right? They hold value over time, whereas heroes are not enduring, right? They last max 6 months / 1 year. Different story maybe for transcendent heroes because they come around less frequently, but certainly the ones that you can get out, with scrolls that aren't transcended yet, they just die off in value so quickly that if you're using feathers for them, just wait until you can get a chest on Imps Monopoly or some other special event. Just wait to get that final copy. It is not worth it. Like, you need upgraded hero or artifacts to get anywhere in this game right now. So I've digressed. So if you need that Rogan copy, like I said, get it via this event. Don't use your feathers. Oberon is useless-ish, but I still use Oberons, right? I still use Oberons for Guild War to fill out slots 4 to 6 when we're fighting Guild War, because my strategy in Guild War is I basically use 2 to 3 E5 heroes, and then the support heroes are usually like just, the piss weak heroes that you have left. I find Oberons are quite effective with their vines, especially, if your first 3 heroes can just stun or just fuck up the other team. Provided the enemy hasn't fucked up your Oberons, and you energy feed them, they can get their vines off, and it's super annoying for the next team, right? So I think Oberon Army is going to make a comeback if they decide to void enable him. That's why I've kept a lot of copies around, and I will continue to acquire copies just for Guild War, but also because I'm just gambling on the fact that his usefulness will come back. So that's the Prophet Orb Summons event this week. The reality is, with the Prophet Summons event, it's not going to be exciting for a long time coming unless they tie it to some special bonus event. Because in the old days, when we needed to get copies of heroes, and we didn't want to spend feathers, and we didn't have enough scrolls, you would get them from the Prophet Orb event, because 1 to 2 months after hero came out with the scrolls, you could get those heroes via doing just a couple of loops of the Prophet Orb event. But here, obviously, not obviously, but there's just not any good heroes left that people need. Well, that's a filthy lie. There aren't any. Look, the reality is they could make this Eloise, but Eloise is shit. Like, the past few heroes that they've released via scrolls have been rubbish. Be it Eloise, be it Twistalago. Forces is useful if you don't even have a Forces. But then you think about like Morax and fucking who's the fairy? It's fuck. There's just no one that is needed right now. Digress. Heroic Miracles Tara. No one needs Tara. She's useless. But the reality is you're doing for the valuable armor, and we'll go into why armor is all of a sudden just valuable, even if it's not like 6-star. Like just any armor is valuable just because you can now trash it to get resonance crystals for. Again, we'll go into resonance suits and why armor is now a currency of its own and it's important. But you're doing for the scrolls, the armor, and the prophet orbs. Moonlight Gift is just tied to how much spending you're doing this week. Don't buy these packs. If you want to go for this, just buy the stuff that's good value for money. So the monthly VIP cards, if your monthly event has reset like mine, just buy the monthly event card. And then you should get close to it, right? So 2 months subscription on the VIP subscription card, so the monthlies, so these privilege cards, right? 2 months worth of this should get you close. How much is it 1 month? 750 to, so like what, 2.5 months ish, 2.5 packs. I think it's like 40 or 50 bucks that you have to spend to get, if you're going for this. Like if you're going to play this game for another year, like you might as well just buy those privilege cards just straight out. And then, like I said, if the monthly card falls into your cycle, then great, like it did for mine. It's like you don't have to spend as much on monthlies. I bought like an extra month worth of the $15 one, the cheaper one, the monthlies, as well as this monthly carnival. And I'm obviously short in terms of spend and points. So how I was going to make up for it was just buying these daily packs for 7 days. And look, you've already missed a day, so if you didn't already think about it like I did, then 150 points a day times 7 days is 700, 1,050 points. So that I should get there on the final day. Should get me over, right? And the reality is, look, as nice as gold, spirit, and all this other shit is, gold is now useful as well, unfortunately, because of how much gold you need to basically either convert armor or just get upgraded resonance armor. But the nice thing from this is, you got this hero selection chest, which, like I said, they're giving so many of these hero selection chests away that, again, we emphasize the point. Don't spend feathers on copies. Just spend it on artifacts. They're giving so many of these chests, hero selection chests away. Look how many I fucking have, right? Look how many I have. So many. And I don't have a use for those ever again, because all the old heroes, I already have all the old heroes. What's really valuable for me this week is the 6-star puppet selection chest, because unfortunately food's become valuable again, right? Enabling heroes, void enabling heroes, it's actually very easy to V1 and V2 a hero, right? Just in terms of math, what it takes to V4 one hero, you can V3 2 heroes. And in my opinion, it's better to V3 2 heroes than it is V4 one hero. Look, it's situation dependent, but that's for PvP, certainly that's how I see it, right? There isn't one hero that you can V4 in PvP that's just so far superior that you absolutely must do it. It's not like a Tix where you absolutely need a V4 Tix to push from Explorer to Valiant. It's just mandatory, right? It's not like that for PvP. There isn't a clear-cut hero where the V4 version of that hero, it just kills everyone so quickly. It's so mandatory that everyone's just gravitated to the V4 version of that. So in that situation, right, it's better to just have 2 V3 heroes in my opinion, or just even like rather than 1 V3 hero, like 3 V2 heroes, whatever the car of the currency works out. But the point is, right, you need a 10-star hero to get them to V1, V2, V3, and that's hard to come by. So unfortunately, food has become valuable for me again. And anyway, that's a Prophet Orb event. That's a Moonlight Gift. Let's talk about the Resonant Armor, which is what you're basically all here for, right? What is it? It's basically just upgraded armor. It's just another tier to get to. And you knew they were, let's be honest, right? We knew this was always coming down the line. They're gonna do a V4, V5 when people all have V3 enabled armor. Sorry, V3 enabled heroes, because at some point they're just gonna release the floodgates and Stellar Shards. And the reason why they're just gonna have these upgrades coming down the line, be it armor, be it Stellar Shards, they're going to rework the pets. They're going to rework the pets. Although you could argue, that's the star spawns, right? I think the next natural progression is that, unfortunately, the pets. Why? Because they've just done armor. They've just done the artifacts. They could, introduce more artifacts. But I think it's going to be, in my books, I think it's going to be monsters, because that's the next easiest thing to upgrade. You might give that monsters like, I don't know, either more levels, or you're going to need to spend something to I don't know, get a deer with a penis that can slap everyone and then just kill everyone. But why did why should you expect this? Because if you look at Void Vortex, right, and you look at how many levels there are, basically Defiler 1's the highest one. Where's the top person? Defiler 5. This person has V3 everything. He has all like fully splendid artifacts, and he can only get to Defiler 5, right? So you knew they were going to introduce things. They need to introduce things so then he can eventually get to Defiler 1. That's the whole point of this game, right? They slowly introduce these incremental enhancements along the way. So then you can actually eventually, in 2 to 3 years, after spending $40,000, you can actually get to the end point, right? Or you can see progress along the way. So it'd be interesting to see if Jesus can actually, with the resonated armor, right, that's aligned to whatever heroes that he has, it'll be interesting to see if he can get to Defiler 1 and complete it, right? Because if he can, then that's the answer, right? That's the end game. It's fully V4 heroes, all resonated armor set, fully resonated with heroes, and it's splendid artifacts all the way, like 8 demon bells, 8 dildos, the works, right? So it'll be interesting to see if he can get there with the resonated armor, because if he can, then that's it. That's the answer. That's the definitive answer. If he can't get there, then what that means is, right, something else needs to be introduced to get us there. Either it's an upgraded monster, or you can go to like level, I don't know, 400, which is, look, that, if I'm going to be dead honest, that's probably the next easiest thing as well. You can get to level 400, right? They're going to introduce that in some way. Or it'll be I don't want to say it, but it'll be like really fucked up. It'll be like, it's either the monster that they're going to do something to, or it's going to be the skins, right? So right now you can obviously upgrade your skin to the legendary version, right? But then what's after that? It's basically the super legendary version, because they've already done, where is it? Yeah, right, this. I think they're going to do the next iteration of this, and that's going to be the next enhancement. And they're going to do it, the upgrade, in a more meaningful way. I think skins are going to be the next thing to have. So if you're like sort of fucking around with skins, I think they're going to do like what they did with the Greydor's Blessing, where you can swap armor of one class with armor of another class. I think they're going to let you swap skins more readily, rather than every now and then. There are special events where you can swap skins. I think they're going to like just have a skin swapping generator just available like every cycle, or whatever cycle that's tied to, like so every 4 weeks. And I think they're going to have like super legendary skins where you have to sacrifice like 50 of these purple skins to just get the legendary one, because the stats is going to be off the charts. I think that's the next natural upgrade. Anyway, I digress. Resonance armor, what is it? It's basically upgraded armor beyond sort of like, there's 5-star, 6-star class suits, and in the old world that was as high as you could get. Now you can get resonance suits, right? So the difference is twofold. One, the base stats are slightly higher. So if we just let's just focus on the blade. 7% attack, 3704 attack. If you look at the resonated version, 8% attack, higher attack number, right? So immediately, the base stats are higher. But then look at the class activation, 7%, 5% crit. Is it 7.5 still? 6. So again, slightly higher. And look, do you need these resonance suits? Yes, because everyone else is going to eventually upgrade all their armor to the resonance suits, because that's the next natural progression. It's just one of those things where they've raised the standards and now everyone's got to go up, right? But the key incremental buff to this is this resonance hero enhancement, meaning now this armor can be tied, incremental benefits can be tied to a very specific hero, not just a class, right? Because previously it was the class suits were tied to a class, and that was, if you have an assassin armor set and you use on an assassin, you get these extra buffs, right? But now they've gone a step further and they say, look, let's go a step further. Let's tie it to a very specific hero, right? And so when you create the resonance armor, right, randomly the heroes that this equipment, the armor, whatever, gets tied to, the hero that gets resonated with is just completely random, right? So then you're like, well, Milkstew, how do I change who the hero it ties to? So before we go into that, like I said, the other thing to point out is the fact that you can convert the class that a class suit is aligned to or a resonance suit is aligned to. It's going to cost you 100 million gold, but if you're endgame and you got lots of armor lying around, I would say that's not worth it. But in terms of, look, how do we change who resonated armor resonates with? You got to do it basically in the blacksmith, and it took me forever to find where this could happen, right? Because I immediately thought, that you have to do it here, like somewhere here, and like it took me forever. Someone had to tell me on Discord from my guild, it's like, Milkster, you got to go to the blacksmith. So to change the hero that your armor is aligned to, you basically need. There's two ways to do it, right? There's two ways to do it. You can either do it for gems, or you can either do it from basically disassembled equipment pieces, right? This what do you call this? Soul resonance crystal. And so to get these soul resonance crystals, you basically sacrifice equipment that you no longer want or need, disassemble it, and then you get these crystals. And these crystals, you can either use these crystals, or you can either use gems to change which hero your resonated armor resonates with. So for example, if I go to Seer, when I create the armor set here, here, look, the boots, it's aligned to Bloodblade. This is Drake. So when I created it, I got lucky, and the blade was immediately aligned to Sword Flash. This one I have to re-roll for, but look, let's just take the necklace, right, as an example, because, why not, Milkstool, you want to do it live. So if we go to the necklace, necklace here, right now it's aligned to Drake. So if you want to change who it resonates with, like I said, you can use these crystals, or you can use gems. And I stupidly use gems just to see, how many it would take, because I stupidly thought it would take 500. No, it can take up to 3,000, right? So basically, it's like with the whole Crystal of Transcendence, those cots, when you summon heroes and you don't get the hero that you want, that you've selected, your chance goes up. It's the same deal, except here it costs gems, right? So I would almost say immediately, unless you're like a fucking filthy mega whale and you don't have the patience to use the gems, that's fine, because you got all the money in the world, like money to use toilet paper. But if you're an average person like us, the reality is you're going to use the sacrifice artifact essence to upgrade, re-roll, and get the hero that you want. Right. So if you went down the gems path, you'd be wondering how it works. So basically, you select the hero that you want it aligned to. Well, actually, you just have to do that in general. But you can either use gems to basically re-roll and try and get her here. So this is who it's aligned to right now. Down here, it's Drake, and this is who you want it aligned to. So you got to pick it up here, right? And then how to re-roll? Can I use gems, or you can use these resonance conversions? So if I do it here, so I've got 59 million. Let's see how many it takes to basically get to Sword Flash. I bet you it's going to be a lot. No, we don't want Rogan. So then you're all probably wondering, hey, Milkstool Tussie, oh, fucking useless Tussie. Hey, Milkstool Thakla. Maybe later. So you're probably asking yourself, hey, Milkstool, what's your advice on like which class and hero to resonate with first? And originally I made the world's longest video about why did I get Drake again? I made the world's longest video sort of talking out what the strategy should be. And I'm just going to give you the answer straight away rather than talk you through the logic, because that video ended up being 36 minutes. And so if I make a 36-minute video here, you'd be like, what the fuck? I just tell me I'm short. I'm Gen Z. Like, I'm not like you, Milk, so I don't have time for these very large prose, these dialogues. Just fucking tell me the answer. So the answer is this. You should, in the first instance, focus on a transcended hero, right? And the reason why you would pick a transcended hero, and probably when I talk about transcendent hero, it's probably, let's be specific, it's either Seer or Halora. If you're thinking about doing Asmodel, then just don't. So if you have a Halora or a Seer, I would say focus on getting the resonated armor for one of them. Why? Because these transcendent heroes are more enduring than normal heroes or classes. Like Halora, she's going to be around for a long time, both for PvE and PvP. So if you have Halora and Seer, I would say do Halora first, because she's useful from a PvP and a PvE perspective, right? But the reason why you focus on getting good armor for one of those individuals is, like I said, they're gonna be around for a lot longer than other heroes. So like in my case, I just picked Halora in the first instance, and I got my armor to resonate with her because, like I said, I just believe she's going to be around a long time because they're not introducing Transcendent heroes every month. Basically, it's like every 3 to 4 months they're introducing. It's slow. They're introducing Transcendent heroes so slow, and they're so good that it's worth actually just having just a fully resonated armor set for either Sia or for Halora, because I think their usefulness when enabled is just going to be for like years to come. It's years. It's literally years, or certainly much longer than heroes that you can get with just using the normal scrolls. I think that's where we are with the game. It's about Transcendent heroes. And because they introduce them so infrequently, then I think it's absolutely worth investing in resonated armor for those Transcendent heroes. So that's like my number one rule. It's like it's a three sort of a hierarchy of rules that you follow. So then if once you've built your first armor set, you've resonated with Halora or Sia, then I don't think we're going to get there. Why did I get Drake again? Then the next advice after that is look at, again, you shouldn't be able to get the same hero twice. Then the next piece of advice I basically have is you should look at all the heroes that you use frequently for PvP and for PvE, right? Here we go. Get them into the right class, like order them by class. No, look at all the heroes that you use frequently for PvP or PvE. What class, in which classes do the most frequently used heroes sit, right? So for me, like that's assassin class. I use Rogan, Ithaqua for PvE, and Drake a lot, right? The other class I use a lot of is basically Ranger. So I still use Russell, I still use Halora, and I still use, who am I saying? Who's another Ranger? That's pretty much it. So Ranger. Then the third class is basically probably Mage, let's be honest. And Mage, you got Ada, she's still mildly useful. You got Forces, you got Carry, and then you got Ticks as well as this guy. So Mage is probably the next cab off the rank for me, if not Ranger. Yeah, and so again, because you're eventually gonna have to upgrade, all your armor to resonance anyway. This is just the order we're talking about, right? The next, so in logical terms, if you buy rule number 1, Transcendent Hero, Halora, or Sia, then rule number 2 is, look, which class do you use the most of from a PvE or PvP perspective, right? So it's probably going to be Ranger, Assassin, or Mage. It's not going to be Priest, let's be honest, right? Because the only two priests that people kind of use are Ignis for PvE, to be honest, right? And what's resonated armor going to actually get her in PvE? In fact, you want her to die as quickly as possible. So then it's really like would you actually just say fuck it, I'm just going to do Priest first as my first resonated armor class because Amon-Ra is so useful and the extra health is just so amazing. I think Priest is going to be the last class you basically do it for, if at all, right? You might never resonate armor for the Priest class. So then, yeah, it's probably, like I said, rule number 2, whichever class you use the most of, that's your next bet. And for me, that was Assassin, and so that's why I kind of went with Sia. So then why did I resonate with her? Again, see rule number 1. So then the third rule is probably, the third rule that I'm going to follow, the third set that I'm going to do is probably for Ithaqua. Again, because I'm using that assassin class so frequently, right? So outside of Ithaqua, I can use it on Rogan, I can use it on Drake. But in terms of who I would resonate shit with, I would do it for Ithaqua. And the reason why Ithaqua is so important right now is because of Void Ark. And why is Void Ark important? Again, Void Ark is important because for Galactic Tree, upgrading these star spawns, to get these, to upgrade these little fuckers, you need these crystals. And the only way to reliably get those crystals is to place really well on Void Ark, right? Be it you're not going to come. Look, the reality is, if you're watching my channel, you're not in the top 100. You're either going to be in the top 300 or the top 1,000, and that's your aspirational goal, because look at how many extra crystals that you get, or eggs as well, indeed, right? So you're basically trying to max the number of points you get on this navigation stuff. And so where does Ithako come into it? Ithako comes into it because she is what is needed to kill the Void Lord boss. When you kill that Void Lord boss, he gives you a fuck ton of points. The key, what I've discovered, or what I've come to understand now, is the key to winning or getting a lot of points in Void Art isn't necessarily having a lot of sort of V1, V2 heroes just harvesting these planets, right, on a daily basis. Yes, that's part of it. And obviously the other part is just, getting to Sector 6 as quick as possible, and just because Sector 6 gives you the most number of base points per planet explored, right? So, yeah, everyone already knows that, right? You can only have so many stealth shards, and you're really going to V1 like 15 heroes. You might do that. That's quite a sensible strategy, especially if you just focus on points. But what I've come to realize, the reality is one of the quickest way to get points is to do Sector 6 as many times as possible. So get to 90%, reset. Get to 90%, reset. And why do you want to do Sector 6 as many times as possible? Because you want to kill that Void Lord as many times as possible. It's a lot of points at once. And so the aim, as I've come to understand it for me now, is to basically do Sector 6 as many times as possible, and to kill the Void Lord boss before I get to 90%. And I only need to kill it before I get to 90%, right? I don't want to kill it any earlier, if that makes sense, right? There is no benefit to me of killing the Void Lord boss in Sector 6 in just one hit, right? Or 2 hits, or 3 hits, because I'm going to have time to acquire these disintegrators, and I'm going to be able to do multiple attacks, right? So, and that's important because that will dictate how hard I go on upgrading Ithaqua. So the reality is I'm not going to get a V4. I think V2 is very reasonable for it to be at. I'm probably not going to get LVR enabled. I think I have what it takes with this lineup to kill off that Sector 6 Void Lord boss before I get to 90% mark. Taking into account that I'll probably upgrade, the reality is, I will upgrade the Arcane Nexus and the Spaceship Lab, the abilities as well along the way, just so I can kill them before the 90%. But that's my thinking in terms of resonance armor. I think it's probably going to be Tharkon or just Assassin class, and then I'm probably going to resonate the blade, whatever gives him more damage, so then it's aligned with the Tharkwa as opposed to, say, Rogan. Because Rogan, really, look, if you're going to do Assassin class, right, and you think about what's needed, Rogan is just, he's not a damage dealer. He's just there to support everyone else. So you might do like armor for Rogan, right? Just, like resonate the armor piece just against Rogan. But in terms of attack, you would resonate that with Ithaqua. And then Drake, I don't know what the fuck you would resonate with him. Basically, maybe speed and, again, health. He's a support hero as well, right? So anyway, that's the video for this week. I hope you found that resonance armor thinking useful. Look, just if I fucked up with my thinking and there's a better way to just consider which heroes to align resonate armor with, comment down below. I'm just always interested in hearing what you guys think and understanding if there's a better strategy, because if there is, fuck, I'm just gonna steal it. Let's be blunt, we're all here to try and win and get here as quickly as possible. And the nice thing about channel, because my production value is so shit, I have no thumbnail and my audio quality is going down the drain. The reality is what you say is just within our community. No one else will know about it, right? Because no one gives a fuck about my channel. So it's come almost like our little secret. Anyway, guys, I hope you have a great week ahead, and thanks for watching as always.